Hello everyone, welcome to the It Goes Off wrap of the round. With me, Cameron Tragardh from the Melbourne Tigers. And Cam, not a good weekend for the Tigers.
No, tough trip for us. Always tough early in the season going to the jungle. They're a well-oiled machine over there, so a bit of a tough one, but we'll bounce back this week.
We finished off the round with Gold Coast, Sydney and Adelaide still looking for wins, and undefeated at the top of the pile, the New Zealand Breakers and the Perth Wildcats. Let's go to the Perth Wildcats. The Cats 92 against the Tigers 76 out west. The Wildcats shot 54% from the field and 47% on threes. They put up 48 points in the paint, and Kevin Lish, the master guard for the Wildcats, went 7 of 6 from the field and 22 points. Paddy Mills had 19. And It Goes Off's very own Cam Tragardh had 18 points and 6 rebounds. Cam, as you said, not a great trip. What was the story behind the game?
There's a few things. They rebound so well. That point's in the paint. We've got to do a little bit to sew that up. We are a small team, so we all need to get in there and crowd it up a bit and get each other's backs. Their bigs leaking out hurt us a bit. We watched the tape today. When they switch a lot. When they contest the threes of our guards, they just get on their bike and take off because they've got some guards who crash the boards like Kamikaze, like Cam Tovey and Damien Martin, Brad Robbins. So we had a bit of trouble in transition, bumping our guards back out to guards and getting our bigs back in the hole. But no, plenty of good signs for us. Daniel Dillon, Liam Rush and Matt Burston had fantastic games, got us back into the game. So that was pleasing to get a contribution like that from our bench is a good sign, and I'm sure we'll bounce back. Work
to do for the Tigers, but the Townsville Crocs are on the board. 95 to the Cairns Taipans 67. Gill had 21 points on 6 of 10 shooting for the Crocs, and Peter Crawford had 15 points. Warren came good, 16.7 rebounds for the Taipans, and Wilson 11 points. The Crocs held the Taipans to just 27 second half points. That's a pretty impressive defensive effort from the Crocs.
No, it was good, and I tipped Cairns, so that shows what I know, absolutely nothing. So don't follow what I tip, but fantastic effort by the Crocs. I really thought they might struggle to get that one. Bit undermanned with their front court down, but geez, they turned it on, and it looks like Cairns didn't really show up in that one.
Well, the Crocs had 18 points in the paint in the first quarter. That set the tone for the game, and they went away with it. But it is worth noting the Taipans are still without Ian Crosswhite and Alex Loughton. So there's a couple of guys that are going to help them along the path, I would have thought.
No, it'd be they're doing a fantastic job. Battling with what they have. Dusty Reichardt and Aaron Grabeau's playing some great minutes at the 4 there, really winding back the clock. So they're going to be a fierce unit when they get their starting 4-5 back, but they're scrapping out some wins at the moment and hanging tough.
On to the Saturday night game, and it was the Sydney Kings at home to the New Zealand Breakers. This was a shocker for the Kings. The Kings 61, the New Zealand Breakers 98, a 37-point loss at home for the Kings. Bruce had 13, Kazoo 12.6 boards. For the Breakers, Daryl Corletto had 16 points on 5 of 9 field goals. Alex Pledger had 16 points, 7 of 12 from the field and a dozen rebounds. The Breakers went 49-22 in the first half. This one was over at the interval.
Yeah, no, it just seemed like one of those games where everything went right for New Zealand and everything went wrong for Sydney right from the start. Much hyped game, the home opener, new team, new dream, and to quote the old Canberra Cannons. But yeah, just wasn't happening for Sydney. They'll be okay, but they're playing some tough teams at the moment.
The Breakers, as we said, they're 3-0. They shot 54% from behind the arc. They only had 11 turnovers for the game. So they're doing a lot of things right, and their quarter-by-quarter scores, they went 26, 23, 23, and 26. That's pretty good basketball in anyone's language.
No, they're right where they want to be early, much like Perth, and they're getting great contributions from a lot of guys. I think you look at their bench, the 2 top scorers there, Dazza poured in 16, that's a nice contribution, and Alex Pledger, did he play 18 minutes or something again and got a huge double-double? He's just on fire. So they keep coming at you. They send out national players, go to the bench, and they bring in national players off the bench. It's got to be a nice luxury.
Indeed. The Kings, it was just not a good night at the office. They shot 32% for the night, and the second quarter alone, they just had 2 field goals. On to Sunday, and the Wollongong Hawks 97, the Adelaide 36ers 89. The Hawks celebrated Matt Campbell's 500th game with a win, and it was a great win. Oscar Foreman had 16 and 11. Reece Martin, really a breakout performance at the point with 16 points, 9 assists. Matt Campbell, the old dog himself, had 16 points, 4 of 6 on threes, including the go-ahead bucket down the stretch for the Sixers. Chris Warren had 25 and Mitch Creek 18 points. The Hawks with a great spread, 6 players in double-figure scoring. But I guess the story of all stories was Matt Campbell.
Yeah, 500 games. What a knock for the big fellow. I was lucky enough to be there for his 400th game. Didn't know if he's going to reach 500, but he might get 600. The way he's playing at the moment, he is rolling, and he's looking every bit the Matt Campbell of old. But the Wollongong Hawks, like you said, a great spread. I remember Gordy McLeod used to preach that if we get contributions from 7 or 8 guys, we're unbeatable. So when you beat the Hawks, it's when they get contributions from 2 or 3 guys. But when they're all firing like that, they're a tough squad.
One bright note out of that game for Adelaide was the new import Diamond Simpson had 15 and 6, so I think he's probably going to be a keeper, and looks like they might be starting to sneak up a little.
Certainly.
Final game of the round: Gold Coast Blaze 82, Cairns Taipans 91. I don't think too many people saw this one coming. It drops the Blaze to an 0-2 start to the season. The Taipans, they went 17-0 run to the end of the game. The Gold Coast was up 82-74 with 4:19 to play when Jason Cadee put back his own miss. Then the Snakes went on a 17-0 run, and that man, Dusty Reichardt, with the go-ahead bucket with 1:41 left in the game. Cairns getting the money in that one. That is a surprise to me.
Huge surprise. There's a couple of key possessions down in the fourth quarter. I thought Gold Coast, they switched a couple of on-balls that they got exposed on. One was switching Cadee onto Dusty for that go-ahead bucket, and then they left Will Hudson on an island out with Warren on the wing there, and he drained a 3, and then it was all she wrote. So they might have a look at that this week. But I thought the Blaze did enough to win, up 8 with a couple of minutes to go. But geez, Warren, he was good, wasn't he? And in the words of the great Austin Powers, he said, "I'll stay. I also like to live dangerously." So he's going well.
You've got to think that when you're up 8 with 4 minutes to go, that you're at least going to score again in the basketball game, and the Blaze didn't get that done. They got 16 points from Hudson, the big man, 6 of 7 field goals, so perhaps he needs to see a bit more of the ball. 8 boards. Gibson had 15 points, 7 assists, and Warren, another good game, 28 points. And our man again, Dusty Reichardt, with 14 points, 7 of 11 field goals. He's just Mr. Efficiency.
He really is. For his whole career. That's not one game. He's Mr. Efficient for the last decade.
He certainly is. And Cairns on the board now. And actually, they were on the board before that. They are now at 2-1. It's the Breakers on top of the standings at 3-0. The Wildcats 2-0. The Snakes at 2-1. The Crocs, Hawks, Tigers, all 50% at 1-1. Then the Blaze, the Sixers, and the Kings yet to get a win. That's the It Goes Off wrap of the round.